Hello, this is my first tarot video, and I'll be doing a daily draw. I work with several decks. The Guides deck by Sonia Choquette is the one I'll be drawing from today. So, we focus on the question of the day, which is what do I need to focus my energy on for my highest spiritual evolution today? What do I need to focus on for my highest spiritual evolution today? So this is in relation to all of us. When I say I speak of the collective I. The I that is I am, that is infinite potential. It is all of our energies schismed on this earth, searching for whatever it is we're here to find. Alright. So this is the card for today. Self-control. And you can see that the being in the center of this card, that's the inner being. And it's sitting in stillness. And you can see around us is chaos. Around that central still being, there are bodies in motion, but it's not a joyful motion. It looks angry, it looks thwarted somehow from its free expression. It looks like it's fighting, combating. And the being in the center also has an aura of a larger reflection, which is, this is the Buddha essence that it's projecting outwards, and it's providing a sort of comfort, a sort of buffer, a sort of bubble. And this aura is also expanding outward that Buddha essence to all who are within its reach. So it's both giving a sense of security, stability, and I want to say separateness. This is like how we as beings need to sometimes come within to find that sense of silence and sense of inner tranquility, inner sanctuary. So finding that sanctuary, projecting that energy outward through stillness, and then magnifying that essence. And the card itself has a number on it which corresponds with the book, so I'll just take a look at it. I've drawn this card for a few people before, and every time they're going through a bit of a crisis. So I feel like today is a challenging day. There's snowfall, heavy snowfall where I am, and as well as in Chicago. So we're getting snowed on. The message of the card says restraint, detachment, composure, relaxation. Your higher self is advising you to keep your emotions in check through these times of change and transition. Be on guard as well against being manipulated emotionally by the fear and drama of those around you. Change is in the air, and the uncertainty at hand is stirring up a lot of anxiety and insecurity. Recognize the potential stress and choose to brave the volatile storm by remaining cool, calm, and collected. Whatever you do, don't allow yourself to succumb to seductive and addictive upheaval of high drama. It has appeal as in a way of expending the excess adrenaline coursing through our veins. So sometimes we feel that inner adrenaline, cortisone rush, and we think, I have to do something, I have to speak, I have to act. And in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, the way to respond to this is actually stillness. Is actually to be as a log, as Shantideva would say, to sit still and reflect inwardly. And of course, in a time of crisis, we may be called to act, we may be called to do, we may be a nurse in an ER, we may have many things calling for our attentions, many machines, many beepings, many people in need. Many of us are feeling this energy, even if we aren't in a literal ER. Our world is in a state that reflects this. So the way to move through this is not to act in chaos, but to know our role, to know how we can best use our energy to be of support. I believe it was Chogyam Trungpa who said that the world is like a giant emergency room, and we need to know what it is that we can do there, what our role is, what we can offer, and to calmly act and respond. So here's some suggestions in the guidebook also for ways to use your adrenaline besides sitting in meditation, which can be difficult for some of us. There are other ways to meditate as well. Go for a run, work out. You can Zoom workout, join a dance class, put on some music that gets you moving. Use your anxiety physically rather than emotionally. So maybe baking, maybe cleaning the house. Protect others and protect yourself against the fear-provoking action of those around us. So if you see that someone's starting a triggering conversation, one thing I have myself have done, I've been in a dangerous situation where someone started a triggering conversation with a bus driver while he was driving many passengers on a highway. And I actually stood up and I told the gentleman that his way of speaking was actually provoking a state of anxiety. It was actually not leading to a calm presence for the driver, and he needed our support to remain calm and focused on his task. He didn't need to be distracted, and he didn't need to be asked questions that were not useful to his role. And I actually got applauded by the other members on the bus, and this was an act of courage inspired just by the care and empathy of those around me, not wishing for those to come to harm, not wishing for myself to come to harm, and realizing that I had a voice and I had the power to use it. So this gentleman surprisingly sat down and stopped his line of speaking, and a supervisor was called and spoke with both the gentleman and the angry man who was causing the disruption. Still seemed very righteous, but he did seem humbled, and sometimes we need to be humbled. Sometimes our egos need to be reminded that we don't have the right to just inflict our will onto somebody just because adrenaline is coursing through our vein. We don't have the right to take that out on another human being. I've also witnessed this in grocery stores and restaurants, people taking a tone with somebody, and when we can find the courage to speak up for the collective good, we don't have to say, you're being nasty to this person. We could say, I think in the interest of the collective good, we need to speak calmly to one another. This has a lot more traction as we're speaking to the whole, to the greater self in all of us. So this goes back to that image of the Buddha. Like, we all have that essence. We can all connect, and we can expand this outward, not only in ourselves, but in others. So if we can find the courage, courage is contagious. So witnessing acts of courage is also a great way to foster our courage, and learning courage is really just through practicing courage. So we're in a time of tremendous fear, and therefore this is an opportunity to learn tremendous courage. So the last message in the book says, yes, it's difficult to face the unknown, but your higher self calmly assures you that no matter what challenges you encounter, You can handle everything beautifully if you remain detached, relaxed, and grounded. So our higher self's message for us is to just be cool, don't trip, and remember how to ground yourself. If you've forgotten when you were a baby, you were really good at this. You probably lashed about and made a lot of noise, and then you probably went inward, rolled yourself into a ball, and rocked yourself. So let's think about that. Is there a way to lash out, cry out without disturbing those around us? Because we're now adults now. We have emotional maturity to not demand others demand that others pay attention to our needs, where we can actually attend to those demons inside of us, those aching wounds, those parts of us that need nurturing and calming. So if you were your own parent, this is something I like to ask myself. If I was my own parent, a loving parent, not all of us had loving parents, but if we can imagine, what would that be like? What would it take to soothe our spirit right now? So just ask yourself that, and allow yourself to be surprised by the answer. What would it take to allow myself to be tended to right now? To be grounded, to nurture this part of myself that fears restlessness or anxiety or just uncertainty. What would it take to find comfort in uncertainty? So this is a question many of us are asking. If you're starting to find an answer within yourself, maybe it just came intuitively, that's something wonderful to share. So many of us are looking for that. So don't be afraid to courageously share what comes to you, because many of us need this and don't even know how to ask the question, what do we need right now? Also, spending time in nature is probably the best way to find our inner stillness, ground, and reconnect to all that is wise in the world. So find a quiet, safe place, and I hope you enjoy connecting, grounding with this inner Buddha, and may you be calm. May all beings have peace. May all beings have wisdom. May all beings have trust. May all beings know a way through despair. Thank you. I see you.